G'day all. Just one of the questions I was asked on one of my videos, somebody's having a problem with winding the window down. They don't know if it's the motor inside or if it's a relay, and I suggested that it could be a switch. So I've taken my switch out, which just showing you that it's got clips on either side that goes in there. And to get it out, I just use the flathead screwdriver, but I kind of like wedged it about here and pulled it out. The bottom popped out first, and then I could jimmy the top. Don't push too much pressure with a screwdriver like that, you'll end up damaging the plastic, so I didn't. You know, force is force. You don't want to go too much. If you overdo it, then you end up scratching plastic and damaging plastic, whatever. Okay, so taking a closer look at the switch here, got a circuit board on the other side. It's got a few diodes, and it's got a few resistors and capacitor and a few things. Pretty easy to replace any of that in there, but you can't just jump the wires across like I was hoping. You've got your main and these two here. Now they short out when driver side when you're using this button here, up and down, but I jumped the wire going across and nothing happened. So clearly the circuit board plays a part of that. Not really too sure how I could get around the circuit board, but it wouldn't be hard to fix. It'd be easy to just take this circuit board off, unsolder a few points to get the circuit board right off, and well, it probably cost you like $10 max to buy all those parts, and just replace them all if need be. Considering that you buy from China or somewhere, probably about $30 for the parts if you had to buy it over here. So yeah, I'm just getting more in depth with this switch. I've added myself, because you got the two wires on this side here, power and negative, so I've tagged it as well. The direct lines to the car for power, and I've added my own little LED setup in there, so at night time these light up. But I've got a red LED in there, and I've got to say, red is the worst colour to use when you want to use LEDs, man. It's not a lot of brightness, so I'm going to change that. And also the LEDs in here aren't working. Well, the one on the left is, the one on the right isn't. So I'm going to fix that while I've got this out. But the process of this job is to show you what's in here and what's it all about. So unfortunately, I don't think you can jump it across. I tried jumping it with the earth, tried jumping it with the power, and nothing happened. I even tried jumping, being a dumbass, positive and negative by mistake, and it's got a big spark at me, and I was like, bloody idiot. Anywho, so yeah, I'm going to take this top cover off here and show you what the switch looks like further apart. Alright, so we've got the switch apart now. We've got the circuit board that belongs in there for the LEDs. You can tell I've been there before. One green LED, one blue. So something I did a while ago to basically, when I look at the controls, blue was my window and the green was passenger window. And just showing you the switch here. There's a few contacts in here, kind of like points that if you have problems with your window going up and down or whatever, it could be dirty points. So, and like you'd get it to work eventually if you keep on going with the with your button. If you keep on pushing it down, it's not just making contact, but also rubs a little bit. So if you did that enough times, you'd probably manage to make a contact eventually. If that's the case, then it's the point of having to take this apart to clean the points. Now, the thing that you need to be the most careful about is this here. Need to get this button here off, and then you need to make sure that when you take the black part off, that the center of that stays with this part of the mechanism, to save you having to fix it. If, like me, you've pulled it apart and haven't done that, then you'll find that this little clip here will come out. The door lock won't work properly. It's not door lock, sorry, window lock won't work properly, which if you're not sure, if somebody's got a problem out there, the button down will make the windows work. Button up and the passenger window will stop working. Okay, so I need to fix that up. I'm going to replace these LEDs. I'm going to make them both green because one of them's blown. Actually, the green one on this is blown. The blue one still works okay, but the blue one's not very bright, so I'm going to change them both to green. What else is there to show you on this? I'll work at this wiring contact here. That's going to there for your earth. That's going to there for your earth as well. It comes around there. When the button's up, these two wires short out, I believe. Where's this? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so when the button's up, that there will be up, not down. And I'll make contact onto those 2 points there. That's right, yeah, yep. So that's where the line's coming in, makes contact to those points there. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna investigate this a bit more as I go. I'm gonna change these lights now. Yeah, I don't want to give a final answer to say you can't jump a connection across until I've fully investigated it myself. So that's pretty much it there so far. Just quickly, one other thing before I continue with the lights. I want to emphasize on these little things here. If you accidentally turn the switch upside down, they fall down, and then you'll be looking at this thinking, which way did they go? So they go opposite to each other. So you get to see that way. One side's got a round end, the other side's got a flat end. So they go like that. Alright. Okay, just showing you here. The primary question would be, when changing the LEDs, which side is the positive and negative for the LEDs. And you've got down the end there, where I've got the clamp, that's earth, and the other side here is positive. And this one here's earth as well. So you can see I've changed the diodes, resistors rather. gives it a brighter green. And so yeah, so when I've got it all back together, those knobs should show up a little bit better. The light should show up through those sections there. You can see in there. Yeah, it's a little bit different there. So the light comes through. Should be a bit brighter in there, and you can see I've actually applied too much heat and burnt the part of the board underneath that resistor. So I've had to just put a wire in there to come back to the track. So put that side there. That side there. Okay, this is the bit I was talking about before, with this little pin that falls out. Now this knob here, you don't take the top off. So at the beginning of this video I said take the top off. Don't take the top off. And you get this mechanism here. Now this pin slides into this little hole here. It's very fidgety, so if you don't like doing this type of thing, you get somebody else. And you can see how that little pin is supposed to work. And then you got this bit. I'm going to show you there, that little bit there. That you can see grooves on the other side. That's where this fits into there, like that. And it's supposed to hold that pin in place. Now the fun part is getting this back together. I can't put this in here right now because then that won't fit through that hole there. Just simply will not fit through. So you've got to get that into that spot there first. Always a fun thing to do. I've done this before, so it's basically just remembering it for myself. And what I've done to make things a little bit easier so it slides in is this little bit of the clip at the bottom there is normally squared off, and I had all kinds of problems trying to get it back in. Wasn't happening for me. So put the spring on there first. And oh sorry, thinking about something else at the same time I was saying that. So the reason why I shaved it a little bit off is so when I push this down, it will slide over the plastic that's there and clip into place. Worked for me last time, so let's hope it works again this time. Oh, this part is so... got to take your time with it, because if you accidentally go too quick, that little plastic bit down the bottom, that little metal bit rather, clip will bounce back out. I want to do something else first, but you've got you can see the gist of that, and now that it's in place, I'd screw this back down, and then I'd push this clip here down, and that will clip it back into the bottom part. But before I do that, I've got a bit of clearance here that I'll show you. I want more LED light behind there, which I've done before, but you can see there's a lot of clearance. There's a lot of space there for lights to be between the mechanism itself and the plate on top. So what I'm going to do, before I go putting it all back together properly, is I'm going to put in LED lights along the top here, just 2, and they'll shine through the clearance at the top, so I won't just have LED lights coming in the butts here, but there'll be lights coming from the bottom part as well. You don't want to drop anything on the floor because the little clip is so small. It's too easy to lose. Okay, so we've got these LEDs on there, and that goes into place like so. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a couple of holes a bit further up, about here. I'll show you in a second when I've done it. Then I'm going to solder the LEDs to those current LEDs, so they're using the same power source, and then when I turn it over, I'll have the 2 LEDs coming out the top there for a little bit of extra light on that switch. So I'll just show you here. You get 2 lights on that side, and 2 lights on the opposite side, so the board can still come out. And just made a couple of holes there. Made a couple of holes the first time, you can see a little bit too close to that part there. I've had to make another 2 holes, and this will go straight in like that. So what will happen now is that I've got the 2 LEDs coming through there. That will shine a lot more light as well. And another thing, before I put all this back together as well, I'm going to mask this up, and I've still got chrome paint there. I'm going to spray this area chrome. Should give a little bit more reflection of the chrome as well. And I'd like to get a light on this side as well if I could. Might just investigate a little bit more right now and see if I can. And there's another thing to be watching out for. These little plastic bits coming out. I just noticed that I'm missing one, so I've obviously dropped it somewhere. Now I've got to go looking for it. So it's an idea. See how they just come out. It's an idea as well to remember that they come out, but maybe pull them out first before doing any major work. Keep them somewhere safe. But I heard it drop down here before. Something dropped. Well, there you go. It wasn't too hard to find at all. I heard that drop earlier, but didn't know what it was. So there's another thing you have to keep in mind as well when putting this back on top. It may not, well, these ones are going to, but good stuff. if that doesn't want to stay in there when you're trying to put this back on the top of this thing here, just to get a little bit of grease, put it on the end, put it there, and the grease will hold it in place while you put it on top, and the grease isn't going to hurt nothing. Yeah, it's not going to do any bad, it's not going to do any good, it'll just hold that in place for you while you put everything back on. I might not hurt that if I just do it anyway myself for practice. When I put it apart again at a later date, it might be handy to have it already there. Okay, what I can work out from this is that you can't bypass it. You can't just run a wire to open and close the window. That'd have to be a manual thing at the motor itself. You would be able to do that from the motor itself, but you can't do it from this switch. You got your up and down, your standard up and down here for your driver's side, but when the button is pressed, it locks the passenger window, and that's when this here operates the driver's side still. And this also, when you press the window normally, and you got this one here, you can go up and down, but there's an extra section for auto. Well, you can see on there it says auto. So when you go that one too far, this one being pressed down and this one being pressed down is what tells the window to automatically close, automatically open rather, all the way. So unfortunately there's nothing you can do about that. You'd have to run a wire directly to the motor itself to see if by adding power to the motor, if the window opens and closes. And if it does, then it comes back to the switch. That's the problem. If the motor doesn't, then it comes back to the motor being stuffed. I suppose when you add power directly to the motor as well, you're kind of like bypassing any relays. So the first thing would be to check your motor if you can. If you're keen enough to look at the wires on the motor and add power to either wire to open and close the window, and if the motor works, then you can come back to either a relay or a switch. It could be a relay. I'd be more looking at the switch, but I can't help any further than that unless I took my door apart and had a look, and I don't particularly want to go that far with doing this. So getting back to this, what I've done is put a couple of green lights in there, and this is from something I've done before. Oops, that's what I was talking about. You can drop plastic things when you turn it upside down. Positive and negative, I've got wires soldered to there, so that's what's going to join those wires there up, join those lights there up. And I've also sprayed the surfaces from both the chrome, so that should give a bit of a reflection to make sure that it all lights up underneath properly. What else is there? Make sure when you put this bit in, there's a, if I pull this out enough, you'll see it. And see how it clips. So when I put this in, you can see that there, they stop that black bit going any further down. That's not as far as it goes down, it's got to go all the way. And now I'm hoping that I didn't make that little metal bit come out. Just take it out and have another look. That's still good. Okay, spring goes on top there. There's little metal things here. That way. Jeez. You can tell by the opposite side as well. This side is clean, this side here is more darker, so you can see on there which side is more clean, which side is more darker, so it's an indication to which way they go as well. I'd generally give it a bit of a clean, but I don't want to, because if I clean it, I'm filing it down a little bit, and I know that this switch worked fine before I start pulling it apart, so I'm going to leave it as it is. So you can see that they're the opposite way to each other there. Fun part. I really hate this bit, because if you accidentally push too fast down and it jumps at you, the little metal bit pops out and you got to do it again. Oh, I'm a clever bloke. Take that back off. Don't forget the little circuit board. Now this is overkill. You don't have to do this. This is just something that, since I got it apart and I know that I can put some lights there, I did. Most people probably wouldn't, but yeah, you never know. I like to be a little bit different. I like to add LEDs wherever I can. And this section here is definitely required to have LEDs, I reckon, because during the night time when driving, you can't always see where the window controls are, and you've got to basically go by feel where they are. And I like to shed a little light on it. Okay, I'm just putting one screw in there for now, just because I want to get this clip on, and if it works then I'll put the rest of it together. If it doesn't, I'll have to pull it apart and find out why. Now this here can only go on one way, so if you put it on and it doesn't want to go, turn it around, it goes the other way. Now, bit of luck, that will clip into place. I'm not being so lucky. There we go. Beautiful. Sweet as. Don't forget that little bit of plastic I talked about. Had to shave it a little bit, give it a bit of a point to get that bit of a switch there back in, because it wasn't going to go otherwise. I'm just going to pause the camera so I don't make it too long, and I'll show you it all working. And there you go. That's what it's going to look like when it's in the car. I like that. And you'll notice the passenger side, when you lock it, passenger side turns off, the light turns off. Just like that. I've pulled this apart twice now, because I thought when I plugged it back in here, I was like, the freaking light's not working. Silly me, pushing the button down at the same time, locking the doors, locking the windows, not realising. So just make sure that that's out, in case you or anybody else want to do the same sort of thing that I've just done, or even if it's just simply replacing the lights that's already in there. Put it back in and one side's not working, it's because the other side's, the other window's locked. So I'm going to do the same to the passenger side. Popped it out the same way. That's the clips that hold it in, same as the driver side. It's got two clips that you've got to squeeze in. Clip into the section there. And to get this part out, there's a clip on both sides. So I need to try and get that bit out. Not as easy. To get it out, got a flathead screwdriver to hook in one side, and I had another screwdriver lifting the plastic bit here up enough for the clip to slide past. Oh, you got two of those connections there the same, and the passenger side doesn't have a light in it. Interesting. You would have thought that passenger side should have had a light. The passenger needs to freaking find the switch too. That looks pretty pretty dirty in there. Well, what I'll do to this one is I'll clean it up, and there's a section right here in the middle that I'm going to drill a hole through there, and I'll get the light to rest up against it like that there, and make it so the passenger can find his switch for the window as well. Yeah, why didn't they put a light in that section like the driver's side? Okay. Showing you what I'm doing here. So I've got the little light there. It's gonna shine up around the top bit, I hope. That's what the idea is. And I've heat shrinked the side that has the resistor, so there's no chance of those two touching each other. And I've put a multimeter on the car, and you got, well, first of all, to recognise what side difference, this white part has the taller side, and this side here, I can put a scratch on there to indicate that to me that that was the side that's positive, 12 volt, and this side's negative. Now I've drilled two holes into this plug, and I've done flat solder, which is not easy, so it doesn't interfere with the original plug going back on there. And now I'll put this into here and wire it up. Just before I wire it up, I'd just like to point out these clips here only go one way. There's a wide side and a short side, so they can only go back in the same way they came out. It's hard to hold the camera and do this at the same time, but there you go. So that's, they can only go one way. I haven't cleaned that side up yet. And you can see the same on the passenger side, they go opposite to each other. Round side on one side, flat on the other. Okay, so that's it there, back together, lights in place. Got all the wiring tucked in there. put it back into this, power up and see what she looks like. Alrighty, that's what it looks like. I don't know why Toyota didn't put a light in the middle like the driver's side did. Yeah, I'll go put her in the car. Well, not that you can see too well in the dark, but from the camera that is. But that's the passenger side. Yeah, I can't justify the camera's not clear like what I can see, but that looks good. Makes it easier for the passenger to see where the switch is to wind the window up and down. I'll just go around the driver's side. This is the driver's side. The camera doesn't justify the looks of it, but it's looking good. Very happy with that. I'm glad I did it. So again, actually one other thing I want to show you while I'm making this video is the passenger side. Okay, I never really paid much attention to this before, but I've always noticed that there's plates on the passenger side the same as there is on the driver's side, except for the driver's side has the controls in it. And well, you can actually see that I've already put LED lights in the bottom ones as well, and the plate's the same. So that's telling me, or showing me, that the door interiors from Previa, Estima, Tarago are interchangeable. See, because a Previa would have all the controls on this side for the driver, where Tarago has it on the right side. So yeah, that's handy to know, because at some point I'm going to be looking for door interiors, and knowing that is a good thing. Okay, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you next time. And last thing I'd like to show you is this was unintentional but works good. When I've got the, you can see the light on there. Now when I lock that window, the light goes off. Unlocked, locked. Sweet, that was not intentional, but it works out great.